seeing you too.
Hey, Mike, over the last, I don't know, 19 games since the start of the new year, you guys are giving up like almost 43% from 3-point line on the season. You guys are 29th, giving up like, I don't know, it's almost 40% from three. What's going on there? How do you fix that? Is that part of just like the way you guys have to defend the middle, or is that something different?
It does fall in that line a little bit. We're not a big team, and when teams play pick and roll and or somebody's driving to the rim, we got to go over, we got to trap the box, we got to tag the roller, and when we do that, we got to have multiple efforts to get out the shooters, and we haven't been, in spots, we've been okay, and you think we're making progress, but at the end of the day, we haven't been good at it the whole season. We've been 29th or 30th in a lot of categories when it comes to the 3-point line. And again, it has to do with trying to protect the paint. Some of it. It has to do with our technique to a certain degree. At times when we're closing out, we're leaving our feet and just giving one effort. And this is to have a great defensive team, you got to be able to give multiple efforts. So if you're a hot guy, I'm closing like bat out of hell to you. And if I have to leave my feet, I'm gonna leave my feet. But I have to have enough discipline to know that as I go to leave my feet, I'm planting that outside foot and I'm getting back into rear view contest, because everybody's great at taking a side dribble and shooting the three, and we're not good at that right now. And it's something that we work on. Even to the point where we're telling our guys, hey, be careful leaving your feet. We call it hip them. Just run and hip them. Just if the hot guy run them off the hip, run to their hip with your chest. No middle, because we don't want to give up middle drives, because now everything's one pass away. There's that, and then our reaction isn't great if the ball's getting driven, and I'm on the weak side of the floor. Anytime the ball moves, I have to move. So as the ball's getting driven downhill, I got to start moving downhill. All 5 guys should be moving when that ball's moving. And now as soon as it leaves this guy's hands, the first thing is we always say high hands when the guy is passing and when he's in his passing motion. So as I'm dribbling downhill, as soon as I grab it together and I do this, both guys come to trap the box, and the guy on his hip should be going high hands. So now that's a hang time pass as opposed to a bullet pass. But when the ball does get skipped, if we're not moving when the ball moves and we stay here, and now when the ball gets skipped, it's like, oh, and I got to go find the guy, and we're late closing out to him. So we got to continue, something we got to continue to work on. Hopefully it will get better as time goes on, but people have to feel us from the 3-point line. And right now, people don't feel us from the 3-point line. And the last thing I'd say, and because we're not big on the interior and we're not big on the perimeter neither, if you think about it, just think about when you used to play basketball. If you're about to shoot a shot and you're in middle school and everybody's about, I don't know, 5'5" or whatever, but if you're about to shoot a three and a guy closes out to you and he gives a little effort, but he's 5'5" and then close as hard, it's probably not going to bother you as much as a guy that might be 5'9" but he's running like a bat out of hell to you to contest, and if you shot fake him and he's back in your lap before you can take a dribble, it's like, oh my God, let me just give it up. We have to play with more sense of urgency when it comes to multiple efforts, because we're not good right now when it comes to getting guys off the 3-point line.
Hi, Coach. Pistons, as you know, struggled. They only have 6 wins, but they seem to be the best 6-win team out there. They seem to play really competitive, tough games. How would you assess how they played this season?
They do play hard, but is there another 6-win team? Or is this a trick question? It's not? Okay, no, okay. I just want to make sure you're not trying to trick me or something, but no, they do. They play hard, and I mean, they had a chance to beat Cleveland in Cleveland. They were up 3 with less than 4 minutes to go. in Cleveland, and we got smacked by Cleveland. They beat Oklahoma City, and it's funny because everybody looks at their record, and I've had plenty of people say to me, okay, you should win this game. They're not a good team. They're a terrible team. You guys have trouble with terrible teams. Well, I mean, every team's in the NBA, and you can win and or lose on any given night, which is a testament to the number 1 seed in Oklahoma City. I think they're number 1 or number 2, 1 or 2 in the West, but losing to the Pistons a few games ago. So we gotta come out ready to play. They hit us in the mouth up in Detroit, and we found the energy to be able to bounce back into the game the last 3 quarters. So Monty has those guys playing hard from afar. It seems like they're believing still, and they're just trying to make the most of themselves every time they step on the floor. So there's nothing going to be easy about tonight's game.
All right. Excuse me. Trade deadline's tomorrow. There's a move or two today. Things have been fairly quiet, like at least from the outside around you guys for the last week or so. What are your observations just in terms of like that side of things and whether, I don't know, maybe less noise, you guys have noticed like less noise around your team?
That's up to Monty. It's up to Monty and Wes. I don't even get into that, Jay. So whatever they got cooking, they got cooking. But I'm focused on trying to get the guys we have prepared to go try to win games.
Okay, and defensively, you guys are 17th in defensive rating as of today, like the 3-point stuff notwithstanding.
Yeah.
How big, when you look at the course of the season so far, has that been the number 1 emphasis from the start of training camp till now? Is that the biggest like focus that you guys have had up to this point?
It's been more of an emphasis because I truly believe that we're, and I believe all the guys believe this, but we're in this to compete for a championship, not to make the playoffs and have a fun regular season by having the number 1 offense and everybody smile and joke and laugh and think that the regular season is cool because our offense is cool. You have to be able to get gritty, and that means you got to be able to defend if you expect to truly compete for championships. And if you can't defend, you have the best regular season ever. And there are plenty of teams out there that I can think of that had fun regular seasons. Everybody's like, oh, this is fun, they're great. And then come playoff time, they just lay an egg. And I don't want to do that. I would rather, and sometimes in this business, you got to take chances. You got to try to shake things up in a way that not a lot of people are happy about or excited about, especially if it's ugly at first and it doesn't seem like it's going to work. But you got to try to shake things up to push the limits of your team, to challenge them in order to truly be ready come the postseason to compete for a championship. And defensively, if we're going to be number 1 in the NBA on offense, but number 25 defensively, we're not going to have a chance. And so somehow, some way, we have to keep improving on that end of the floor to give us a chance. And at the end of the day, it may not work out, but for me, coaching this team, I'd rather know that I tried to do something that I felt that can truly help us get to what our goal is than to sit back and have this pretty offense and have fun during the regular season and be comfortable like we were last year and get knocked out in the first round or even the second round.
Coach Brown, De'Aaron, he's climbing up the charts, on a defensive side, with the steals and the deflections and other areas as too. Would you consider him like, the guy who's anchoring that defense? Because, of course, we talked about it this afternoon. He said he's really good when he's on the ball, so that means he's part of everybody's scouting report right now. But just want to get your thoughts, on how he's playing and how well he's playing on that defensive end, and he's that anchor, he's that, that rock that making everything happen.
He can be, for sure. He can be that guy. And I said it back when I was with him when he was in high school for a camp. I felt like he could be, if not the best two-way player in the league, at least one of the top 3 two-way players in the league, because he has, dude is so smart. He's got a great feel, extremely intelligent, but he's strong and he's extremely quick and he's got great hands, so he can disrupt a lot of things often. And now what he has to do, just like the rest of us, we just have to do it consistently. We have to do it every time we step on the floor for 48 minutes. And once we get a level of consistency, not just from him, but from our entire team, the sky's the limit for us defensively. And of course, with the way that he, as athletic and quick and smart and active and strong as he is, he can definitely be the catalyst that can get us over the hump and win some games on that end of the floor, even during the playoffs.
Mike, I know you don't like to get too high and too low, but this stretch of games that you had on the road trip, especially coming off of the skid that you guys had, I was kind of curious how you looked at that stretch overall, and kind of more to the point showing that you played good basketball, but obviously you had to overcome some adversity along the way as well, and some bad basketball. Knowing that you guys can kind of grind out and win ugly, what does that kind of do to the character of this team?
I've said this before. Even back, I can't maybe Detroit, even on that trip, I thought we started to play some pretty good basketball back then. Even, in Milwaukee, we had some really good moments. Phoenix, we had some really good moments. Obviously there was a stretch there where we lost 4 in a row, but you could still lose and think, okay, hey, we're heading in the right direction. And I felt that, we were heading in the right direction back then. So I feel like we've been playing some pretty good basketball consistently for a while. Even the Indiana game, I mean, again, yes, they didn't have all their guys, but they're in the NBA. And coming off a trip like that, it's tough. Just like coming off this trip that we were on, tonight's going to be tough, And but that doesn't mean, whether we win or lose, that doesn't mean we're playing bad basketball, because we are playing pretty good basketball. There are things that I continue to want to clean up, and times when I'm like, we got to do better or whatever. But overall, yeah, I like the direction we're heading. I think the guys feel pretty good about the direction we're heading, and so having that confidence, that belief, and knowing that we can go into almost anybody's house and win a game, especially when we feel like we really want to and or need to, is definitely a good feeling, because this league is so talented. A lot of good teams have a belief that they're going to go in and they're going to do what they need to do to get the win versus this team. And the teams that don't have that belief, they usually are competitive because they're talented and probably well coached, but at the end of the day, it's hard for them to hold on and get a win because the belief isn't quite there. And so playing good basketball, especially getting wins, helps in that category.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Coach.